Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Unscripted and Unchained RPG Review. I am Game Master Bloodworth, and as you can see by the graphics, today's video I am going to be making a return to Crown and Skull RPG, and in particular I am going to be focusing on the player's guide portion of this rule set. And I'm going to be breaking this down into quite a number of videos, which I explained in the introductory video of this. So today's video, I'm going to break it down to just focusing on the concept, the content, player focus, and the North Hold. So this is going to be part one of a series of videos just covering the player's guide portion of this rule set. Speaking of the rule book, I expect to get this. It'll probably come on Tuesday. So I already know that it's in my town, but it's a holiday weekend. And so there's a very good chance that it's not actually going to come to me until Tuesday. And I happen to be working on Tuesdays, which means I won't actually get it in my hands until about Tuesday around 7 p.m. or 7:30 p.m., whatever time I actually get home from work. And then I have my Castles and Crusades game Tuesday night, which we might be getting a late start. So it's actually not going to be until Wednesday that I actually do a box opening and start looking at the physical book itself along with you. So if it wasn't a holiday weekend, I would be getting it by tomorrow. So, pretty fast service, right? I ordered this, I believe, on the 16th. So it's certainly going to arrive by the 20th or the 21st. So very, very quick turnaround on that. Without further ado, let's start taking a look at Crown and Skull RPG, the player's guide, concept, content, focus, and the North Holds. So I'm taking here, so I'm just really, concepts and content, player focus, and the North Hold. So really just the first couple of pages of this. I read to you the forward the last time, and I skipped over the other forward. So here is the player's guide. And I will make this a little bit larger as we get to the portions that I'm going to be reading. A leaning stone seems to be like a short story kind of thing, perhaps to put you in the in the mood for it. And to be honest, I have not read this yet, so I am going to skip over it, and I'm going to go to concepts and content. Before we dive into the process of imagining an entire world, numerous storylines, possible heroes and villains, game mechanics, character concepts, and how it will all come together, let's get our footing. Whether you're new to the tabletop role-playing or a battle-scarred veteran of yesteryear, all good games begin with the same phrase. Wouldn't it be cool if? Every day we dream of things we crave, whether it be that first cup of coffee, or last day of finals, slaying at the gym, or finishing a project. We visualize the outcomes of daily life, or set our wills to hard work, and then the magic happens. We imagine other things. We daydream about wide open fields, trackless wilderness, friends clanging mugs in a lantern-lit taverns, freedom and exploration, swords flashing, and heroism well earned. For fantasy fans everywhere, this is a daily exercise, dreaming of a world of adventure. If you do this, you're ready to roleplay. If you've roleplayed before and you find yourself dreaming of worlds beyond our own, it's time to get back into the hobby. You, my friend, like me, are ripe with the substance of role-playing concepts. Role-playing concepts are the simple foundation that you'll bring to Crown and Skull. You'll imagine yourself in each scene your friends emerging from the landscape, our own details adding to the living view of the imaginary universe. All the muscles of reading a great novel will serve you well here. Translating word into images and images into emotions. How, how do you fit into it all? Wouldn't it be cool if it was you in this story? This time it is you. Role-playing games have been around in the form we know them today since the late 1960s. There's no need to get into deep into the what is role-playing discussion. Just get those daydreams in your head, see yourself in the pages to come, and you'll be reading for anything. You'll be ready for anything. Concepts and content. The real skill set of role-playing is the translation of concepts into playable content. Anyone can imagine themselves slaying a dragon with a silver sword. The art of gaming, of the gaming hobby, is codifying this scene or that scene into risks and uncertainties, making a gamble of it all and seeing what happens. That art falls on you, dear reader, whether player or game master. The world. Much of this book portrays a world the North holds. This vast space is our backdrop, but its details are far more than stage setting. The world provides its own invitations, dilemmas, and challenges. Answering those calls is usually what sets things in motion. Characters. Players change concepts into content by building mechanically sound and emotionally compelling characters. Heroes, hermits, and explorers all play their part, giving the world life. Enemies. Before our heroes can do whatever they please, they'll have foes to contend with. The GM will hurl all manner of monsters at you. Is there any way around? Any hope? When is the sword the only choice? Dice. To resolve the friction at play here, it's time to roll dice. We can sway the results a bit, but there's no telling what will happen. And then, after the dice have spoken, we'll have to update our scene, change our perspective, take in new circumstances, and press on. How we confront all this together is the content of the great tabletop game. Hail reader, my name is Hankarin Farinali, a mountain dwarf, intellectual, painter, fisherman, brewmaster, cheese connoisseur, and former battle commander. I'll be weighing in on the text here and there, so mind ye all my counsel. The player focus. In many RPGs, the game master is an ever deeper source of almost everything at the table besides roleplay and decision making. In combat, this becomes even more apparent, as a GM is often thinking for numerous monsters and environmental hazards, making lots of rolls, and even assisting players with their roll targets and hoped for output values. This can lead to a cognitive overload for GMs, but it is cognitive overload for GMs, but it is considered acceptable as GMs are often the most enthusiastic about the hobby in general. In Crown and Skull, there is an intrinsic call to players. You are now the focus. The term player-facing in a role-playing hobby refers to roles and mechanics that do not require input or answers from the GM. Rather, players need only consult their own sheet and resources, personal and unique to them, to make rolls, attempt actions, attack foes, and determine the output values of their work. Rather than asking, "What's my target on this roll?" The player always knows the answer, rolling in the context of their skills and equipment. Just knowing what you're trying to roll is hardly a robust player-facing game, though. Here's where you, dear reader, are called upon to set up as a crown and skull player. In this game, there are numerous aspects aimed squarely at you. Let's start with the soft elements. Acquiring player expertise. An expert player doesn't just stay focused on the game, expedite turn time, lift up other players, and roleplay with the best of them. Player expertise is also found in the deep comprehension of the mechanics and thematics in the game. This comes with time and attention. Gathering character knowledge. Your character will gain knowledge of the foes, treasures, magic, politics, geography, and more as they grow. This area is entirely your purview. The GM won't remember to remember what you may or may not remember. All right. Finding synergy. Throughout this book, there are numerous easy to miss interconnections. The masterful player finds and exploits these synergies with style and effect, making the most of the many details given. Continuing a player focus. Beyond the soft skills of a player focused game experience, we have the more mechanical expectations of this system. Making rolls. Since the GM has far fewer rolls to make, the player will find themselves making a great deal more rolls throughout play. This places the burden of speedy play on the player. Rolling defense to avoid a four-main mandible bite. Be ready knowing what your target is, whether your d20 is hiding, and the like. Knowing the ins and outs of your sheet become far more important when you are making 5 times the rolls of the GM. It also means there is seldom a dull moment. Building elements with points. It's one thing to play skillful within given elements and things from the book. Crown and Skull takes player facing to a whole new level by entrusting players with the construction of new and emergent elements of play by granting hero points. These points can be earned in many ways, and they allow you, the player, to invent spells, equipment, and other progression abilities as played proceeds. Who is the best designer of an RPG? The people playing it is. If this level of involvement feels intimidating, you can always play what's written. Go with your gut. Crown and Skull has total trust in the player. The more you explore this book, the more that should become apparent, and I hope offer you new vistas of creativity in these sessions and evolution. Synergy and customized fluidity, jibbity blah blah. I've got a silly accent to perfect, a million drawings of my axe to finish, and these chips to eat. I'll use gear, skills, and spells straight out of Meath tome. Thank you very much. The North Holds. Crown and Skull takes place in a realm called the North Holds. This vast, diverse landscape is filled with cultures, secrets, and dangers for you to explore. It is a dark time, but thanks to you, there is always hope. The North Holds are recovering from a terrible time of calamity. Some 30 years before the present day, the Bloodwing War ravaged the realm. The once unified lands no longer have a king, borders have decayed, wilds are more dangerous than ever. An age of order and ideas has come to an end. With no unifying rule, the whole North Holds struggle to find new purpose and new direction, an era of adventure. Bloodwing was a colossal green dragon, driven mad by a slime entity called the Corruption. Since his rampage of desolation, dragons are widely feared by all but the elves of Dragontooth, and seldom seen. Only the very old remember the time when dragons and mortal folk were allies. A formless evil has been creeping into the world since the fall of Bloodwing. It is not fully understood, but the dreams of mortal folk are darkened. Rumor holds that the Lord of the Blood Manor is somehow behind this growing shadow. This is a mysterious figure known as Lord Royce, said by doomsayers to be he who would drink the world. Despite all this, good yet has a foothold. 3 once tiny towns are on the rise with renewed ambition, havens for a new generation of adventurers. Long-standing tyrannies are being worn away by courageous defectors. The light challenges the darkness to retreat and asks every soul in the holds, will you choose the crown or the skull? An irrevocable choice. As you grow and explore the North Holds during the play, at some point a lord, king, or elder wizard will offer you access to once forbidden realms of knowledge and power. To make this exciting step in your journey, you will face a choice that can never be undone. You must choose either the crown or the skull. Both paths have secrets and skill to teach. Choose wisely. There are many foes of both sides in the wide world. And then I will stop it there and we will go into hometowns, because hometowns really starts the first step or the first process of character creation. And so I'm going to leave that here for now. And I mean, conceptually, it is very much different from your traditional role-playing game in that it shifts the focus of the game master really pushing everything and being the forward-facing and doing most of the roles and most of the adjudication, let's say, and it puts it more into the players where they are rolling more, but their targets and their their successes and everything are readily available. Like they don't have to ask those questions because they can see it, or know it of themselves. So really looking forward to seeing how this actually takes a hold at a table, and anxious to see how other people handle it as well. So I can't wait to start seeing some live play, of this taking place, or real play or whatever actual play. They call them actual plays. So I'm looking forward to seeing that, and as well as recaps and such. I'm going to do a follow-up video separate from this line of covering the book, when I actually physically get the book in my hand as well. But there were some things that Hankarin Farinali had said on in a recent interview that I think is really, I'm going to argue in that separate video that he's making a clear statement as far as what possibly the intentions of Crown and Skull RPG in the overall hobby space, what his intentions are of it, or at least I'm hoping that his intentions are what I'm going to talk about in that video. So But for the meantime, um, simply watch through this video and listen through the concepts and the content and the player focus aspects of it, and then the brief portion of the Northholds, and then in the next couple of days I will come out with the follow-up where we get into character creation and such. So hope you enjoyed this video. Please feel free to leave your comments in there. If you already have this game, if you've already run this game, I'd love to hear some of your comments in the comments section. As always, I look forward to seeing you on a gaming screen sometime soon or in person at a convention. Looking to see if I start to see Crown and Skull popping up at the conventions that I'll be attending. If not by as early as this April, my first convention I'm going to, I do expect by the summertime we're going to see this spreading out and and being run. So really looking forward to seeing the expansion and the exposure of this game system getting out there. So without further ado, you all have the rest of your enjoy the rest of your weekend. And for many of us, this is a holiday weekend, so you might have a 3 or possibly longer day weekend. So enjoy and keep gaming and keep on rolling those dice and spending time with your friends. Or if you're a GM like myself with multiple game sessions, it'll give me plenty of time to actually sit back and do some planning for the two games that I am running, and potentially even do some more videos tomorrow as well. So you'll have a great one. Take care.